A very good evening to everyone and welcome to today's workshop. I am Anushmi Jain, Faculty of Law, the ICFAI University, Dehradun, and I welcome you all to National Online Workshop on Status of Urban Governance in India, organized by CELPIT, ICFAI Law School, the ICFAI University, Dehradun, in collaboration with Praja Foundation. I would like to take the privilege to extend a heartwarming welcome to our speaker for the day, Mr. Aviral Narayan Dubey, Project Officer, Praja Foundation. Thank you, sir. Thank you for accepting our invitation and being with us today. Along with him, I would also welcome Professor Dr. Yugal Kishore, Dean, ICFAI Law School, and all the participants who have joined us today. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Now, I would like to pass on the mic to Professor Dr. Yugal Kishore, Dean, ICFAI Law School, to address the gathering. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Madam Anushmi. Good afternoon to all the participants and the keynote speaker of the day, Mr. Aviral Narayan Dubey. At the outset, I wholeheartedly welcome the keynote speaker of the day, Mr. Aviral Narayan Dubey, who is the project officer of the Praja Foundation and who has done extensive work on local self-government and urban development in different states in India. So we are very fortunate today that we have with us such a learned speaker. Apart from that, I have seen that we have Professor Dr. Preeti Mishra ji from Baba Saheb Ambedkar University, Lucknow, and other distinguished professors and academicians from different parts of the country. So I, on my behalf, welcome Madam Preeti Mishra and other academicians and professionals pan-India to this particular web workshop on status of local self-government in India, or status of urban development in India. Further, on this occasion, I just wish to say that ICFAI Law School in the period of COVID-19 has organized a number of international, national workshops, webinars, and side by side, we have organized special guest lectures also. In the process today, we are organizing this, and my dear students are here to appreciate and get themselves enlightened on urban development in India. As a matter of fact, we know very well that India has been among the fast growing economies in the world in the last 2 decades. But this growth has been implemented and has implication for the pace and nature of the urbanization, with rising aspirations and growth of middle class. There has been inadequate planning for the inevitable and increase in the urbanization, making it socially, financially, and environmentally unstable. So learned keynote speaker will be presenting before you the basic framework within which the cities operate, including missing institutions for metropolitan governance and anti-urban bias of the political system of not only the day, but the previous governments also. So therefore, with this, I do not want to be there in between you and the most learned speaker of the day. So I am back to Madam Anushmi. So Madam Anushmi, please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your words. Now I would call upon Mr. Vishal Bera, Faculty of Law, ICFAI University, Dehradun, to introduce our keynote speaker, Mr. Aviral Narayan Dubey. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am. A very warm good evening to all the participants and the keynote speaker of the day and our Dean, sir, Professor Dr. Yugal Kishore, sir. To introduce our keynote speaker of the day, his name is Mr. Aviral Narayan Dubey. He is the project officer of the Praja Foundation. Mr. Dubey has done his MTech in Urban Development and Management from Terry School of Advanced Studies. Currently, he is working as the project officer at the Praja Foundation. He holds a varied expertise in urban areas and also engaged with the elected representative, CSO, and other college students on different issues to build their capacities on urban governance. To introduce more, we can actually hear Sir from his own mouth to understand his own introduction, sir. And I pass on the mic to Sir for the today's workshop. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much. Hope I am audible.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yeah, that's great. So thank you so much for this warm welcome. I really appreciate and extend my gratitude to all of you, especially Dr. Yugal Kishore, Vishal, and the university itself. It's our privilege to be a part of this event and also share our findings on urban governance study, which we have recently completed. Just wanted to share as an organization or as individuals, we believe that informed youth and active citizens will completely transform the way we are looking at the problems in India right now. So with that cause, we are here to share and talk about the key findings. So thank you for so much for this platform to share our findings itself. Okay, so just to begin with me, and I'm pleased to inform you that I have with me Ms. Harshita Mangoria, who is also been a part of Praja. She will moderate this session with me. So I hope my screen is visible. So allow me to start and start the discussion itself.
Surely, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So in today's session, we would like to share you or discuss with you the very key insights about the urban India right now. Whereas we all identify, even you, Dr. Yugal has also pointed out very specific points that we need to focus on Indian urbanization trends, and if you want to make India a better livable city or happy city. So with that note, I just wanted to start the session. I request everyone, every participant to be active, and I believe at the end of the session, you will get to know about the status of urban governance in India and also about the key challenges and the reforms needed at present if you talk about Indian urbanization challenges and the probable solutions. So with that, I would just wanted to start with a very short video, which actually defines as an organization what we are doing right now and why this workshop itself is important, as well as why we need the like discussion on the urban governance in India right now. So with that, I just want to play this. Let me know the voice is clear. At the end of this video, I would like everyone to just use the chat box and discuss about what are the key inferences you have. Anything, for example, at the end, you may say that this video will talk about active citizen participation or so and so forth. So let's open the chat box and we could discuss at the end of this video.
He's given him, section's gone.
When we come together as one, we will be heard. Log on to praja.org, form communities, talk to those in power, and get things done. Praja, let's do something.
Yes. So with this short video, I believe you all get to know about our organization. So we are here. We work in Mumbai as well as in Delhi. Now expanded ourselves to all India to work upon the very basics to make democracy work at the ground level. When you make democracy work at the ground level, all the problems we have one solution, but participation, citizen participation. I just request everybody to comment on, use the chat box as well as to comment on what we have learned from this video. Meanwhile, I request Harshita, are you there? What you have inferred from this video? I just wanted to know from your end, Harshita.
Yes, Anushmi. This video, in a very broad and comprehensive sense, talks about specific issues most probably all the large or minor cities in India are currently facing, and also highlight the very fact that come together as a collective unit and solve the
Yeah,
problems and
sorry,
participate.
Harshita, we can't hear you. So if possible, you can just off your video and speak. Yeah. Yes.
Oh, is it fine now?
Yeah, better, Harshita.
Okay, yeah. So I was just saying that the entire video, in a very comprehensive sense, talks about the civic issues that most probably all the Indian cities face, and how people come together as a collective unit with actors and have these issues solved in a better way.
Okay.
So it's in the chat box.
Yes. So basically, I have one response in the chat box that talked. Sanidhya Gupta said the key learning from the video was how implementing efforts in solidarity can prove to be a conductive and helpful for the whole country. That's true, Sanid. Actually, why we are here, just to initiate a very basic thing. Want to aware and also want to equip with an information so what you will be become aware and participate in local governance. So with that cause, let's start this session and let's talk about very basics. And so for that, I have one very short activity for you all. I request everyone to just use your chat box and comment on this. As a citizen or as a youth or as a citizen of India, we know that we are as we all know, 31.16% population lives in urban areas as per 2011. That contributes to around 300 million population. But do we know what major challenges what we face in India right now? So let's list down as a group. Let's list down some of the challenges. So my question would be, what are the major challenges we face in Indian cities? I could answer this as I believe the solid waste management that we call SWM is the major challenge we face in Indian cities right now. Yes, we have responses to one now. Thank you for that. We have Sarvottam who said corruption and pollution is one of the issue. Totally agree. Vishal, thank you for drainage. I believe drainage is the more problem. What we know, overcrowded. That's interesting. Let's talk about population. Skewed urbanization, Harshita, that's great. Peace, Vivek, that's good. Vivek rightly pointed out peace. Anusha said challenges domestic water, population, lack of public street lights. Interesting, usual. That's great. Uh, we have couple of responses that talk about traffic, poverty, population, distribution of wealth, rightly pointed out. So that means when we talk about challenges, we know that what they are. So we can talk about poverty, we can talk about uh, one may say overpopulation. That means we are talking about spaces which not adequately monitored, as pointed out you as well. Water problems, yes, true. So if we talk about basic services, we can count them as we have challenges in public health, we have challenges in cities when we talk about education, we have challenges when we talk about wash and health, we have challenges about solid waste management, drainage, roads, Urban planning, that's true. Road and population are the major challenges we face. Even what we can do is crime. I hope you all agree with me. With example of Delhi and Mumbai, we have crime issues as well in metropolitans. Whereas in different cities, one common issues which we all face is the solid waste management as well. Which Vijay Anand already pointed out, increasing piles of dump yard. That's true. Okay, this is very interesting, and I'm very happy to see the responses. But let's answer the second question, and that will be the best interesting aspect as we all as a participant here. So I just wanted to pose one thing. Name the cities you belong or you know, because in this session, at the end of this session, you will directly gonna relate to each of the problem as well as the probable solution you face in Indian cities right now. So I am from Lucknow. So I love to state here that I will share my experience about Lucknow, Delhi, Mumbai, where I work and where I know. So we have participants from Muzaffarpur, Patna, Bihar, Patna, Hyderabad. That's great. Patna, Varanasi, Dehradun, Mumbai, Jodhpur, Rajasthan, interesting. Patna. I just wanted to know which cities we our participants are because we in this session we will share about the real examples of your cities, your state. So just wanted to know where my participants are from. So Punjab, very good. Pune, that means Maharashtra. Motihari, we have Vijaypur, yes. Patna, Gaurav Kumar is from Patna. We have participant from Jharkhand. Interesting. So I believe we have from north, mix of as well as south, mix of Western India. That's great. When we have participants from Noida as well. Cool. So you can just type it out here. But as at a core, what we have listed down as a challenges, you all may agree with me that the common problems we face in Indian cities right now are for all. So we can say copy to all. If we talk about challenges, we can say copy to all. It's everywhere the same. We may have the various potential as well as the intensity varies in metropolitans to the tier 2 cities. But as a whole, we have problems or the challenges across same. So to answer this problem and the solution, we are here to share with you the findings of the Praja's urban governance study. But before we could start, I just wanted to show who is responsible for all the challenges. Let's talk about this. At a very fundamental basis, as you all know, Indian Constitution talk about certain functions that will be vested or powers vested with the union government, the state government, as well as the concurrent list. So in the seventh schedule of the Constitution, we have state list, which specifically talked about that local government, all the management, all the constitution, all the law making, anything vested with the state government. So every challenges we face, the municipal corporation and the cities, is somehow we can hold accountable our state government at a COPA. You will agree with me after realizing this importance of why we have introduced the local self-government as an individual or as a basic. So Harshita, what's your view on the 74th and the 73rd constitutional amendment? You want to share? Okay, so Harshita, if you're not here, basically realizing the importance. Yeah, Harshita.
Yeah, am I audible?
So sorry, I'm not able to hear you. No issue. So basically, we have realized that there are challenges in urban areas when we talk after independence as well. This was a time when the concentration of population were there in Indian cities. Like we can take some big cities named like Delhi, Kolkata, Mumbai, port city like Chennai, which receive certain kind of a population concentration of population. With concentration of population, we have increase in challenges like means sanitation problems, housing problems, and other. To identify the problems as well as the solution, Government of India, the central government, introduced the 73rd Constitution Amendment in the 74th. 73rd Constitution talked about institution of Panchayati Raj, that means for the rural area. More specifically, we want to focus on the urban sector. That means we are talking about the 74 Constitution Amendment that was introduced in 1992, which actually there in the Constitution, when you talk, read Article 243P to 243Z. It also talked about the 18 function that should be devolved at the local level, and that is there in the 12th schedule of the Constitution. But more specifically, let's talk about what this 74 Constitutional Amendment actually meant at that time. If you talk about urban areas can be distributed into two ways. First one is the statutory towns, which have provision of Nagar Panchayat, municipal councils, municipal corporations, or any kind of institutional framework. That means they have been constituted after the 74 Constitution Amendment by the state governments. Second one are the census towns. That means after the 74 Constitution Amendment, the central government guided that states should prepare or may any in urban areas, these Nagar Panchayat, municipal council, or municipal corporation. That for sure. At present, in according to 2011 census, we have around, you may guess, we have around 4,041 statutory towns in India. That means we have around 4,000, more than 4,000 Nagar Panchayat, municipal council, and municipal corporation across India. That contributes to 300 million population. So let's talk about why we have constituted, what were the provision in 74 Constitution Amendment. Basically, the 74 Constitutional Amendment was introduced. I know if Harshita, are you there? You may want to chip in this time. Yes, Harshita.
Yes, sir. I hope I'm audible now.
I can hear you. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. So sorry for the network issue. I'm in the downside area. So, sir, until now has been all the provisions. So
So sorry,
basically, the
Harshita. I'm not able to hear you right now as well.
yeah, I
No,
think you should go ahead. The
I will.
network
I
visibility.
suppose, Harshita ma'am, your fan is making a issue, I suppose. I suppose at least might that be a
Or you
reason.
can change your headphone, please.
Uh,
Yeah.
so I've like turned off the fan. Is it better? You should go
No,
ahead.
Harshita
no.
ma'am,
No.
are you using the
I
headphone?
suppose, Harshita ma'am, your fan is making a issue,
Hello?
I suppose.
Harshita ma'am, are
Yeah,
you
I
there?
suppose at
yeah,
least
Are
might
you
I
that
using
be
the
a
Or you
reason.
headphone?
can change your.
no, I'm not.
Yeah.
So I've like
Okay,
turned off
you
the
have the
fan.
headphone, ma'am.
Is it
Please use the
better?
headphone.
No,
Yes.
Harshita
no.
ma'am,
No.
are you using the headphone?
No issue. Okay, we will just continue and let's talk about why we need 74 Constitution Amendment. It is important for every citizen to understand. Basically, 74 Constitutional Amendment talked about or guided state government to conduct regular elections in these urban local bodies, which should be constituted by the state government. So that means regular elections should be there. First thing is very important. Second thing is, if you all know, and you also as a law student or as a citizen, we know that our Indian Constitution also give powers to representation of weaker sections. When you talk about local self-government or the urban local government, it also mandated to give reservations to scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, women's, as well as more specifically nowadays. I can give you an examples of municipal corporation which have 50% of reserved seat for women. Can you imagine 50% of seat reserved to women's at the local level? That's great. So it also talked about the three basic things. First thing is the empowerment. Let's empower our local bodies. Second, let's give them functions to perform. Third one is to perform this function, let's give them financial stability. For financial stability, the 74 Constitution talk about State Finance Commission. That means for the powers of taxation. It also talked about how central government should devolve funds to state government and how state government should devolve funds to urban local bodies. As a core, as a basic, it talk about this. Let also talk about as a citizen what it actually empower us. So as a citizen, it gives an opportunity to participate in local government matter through ward committees or area sabha. I will discuss in detail for sure about this. But let's talk about a very basic question that is there. That do you know about these 18 functions, the listed down in the 12th schedule? If we want to read this, it's there in this slide. Let's talk about this 18 function. And I just wanted to use the chat. Please use the chat box, and let's talk about whether we believe these functions are directly related to us in a daily life. Let's explore. First thing is, when you talk about the 18 function, which should be with the local corporations, the first one is the urban planning. That means all the master plans, all the layout plans, all the buildings, bylaws should be with the municipal corporation. In your city, if you are from Dehradun, if you are from Lucknow, if you are from any other city in India, majorly this function is with the central government or the state government. Due to this, what we face right now: slums, inadequate adequate housing. I believe, yes, this is a challenge. Let's talk about other issues. What about the regulation of land use, roads and bridges, water supply, education, public health and sanitation, fire services, urban forestry? We have not identified the main challenge, but in Indian cities right now, we have a lack of open spaces or green spaces. So, according to the 74 Constitution Amendment, it should also be with the municipal corporation. Provision of urban amenities like parks, garden, when you talk about playgrounds, so it should be with the municipal corporation. What about, I use this phrase, right from your birth till your death, what is the constant thing you have in your life? And we receive a couple of answers. One may say mother, one may say father. But if you talk, let me submit you why. Because who will give you or issue your birth certificate? The municipal corporation of your city. Who will issue your death certificate? The answer is the municipal corporation. Right from the birth to the death, one thing is constant. Who will give you services like, for example, street light? Who will give you services like solid waste management in your city? The answer is municipal corporation. But let's explore whether our municipal corporation in India are well empowered or equipped with the solutions or the challenges. Let's talk about this. And for this, I just love to share this urban governance study. Let's talk about how Praja have created this document, or we call it an urban governance study. We have visited, if you can see the slide, we have across 3 years, over the span of 3 years, we have started a journey just to map the importance of 74 constitutional amendment. Now we have completed more than 25 years when we did the 70 major constitutional reform, that this 74 constitutional amendment. Over we started this journey in 2017, and we have recently concluded this study. We have covered all 28 states and one national union territory, that is NCT of Delhi. In this study, we have come across or visited individually 40 cities across India. This study involved basically stakeholders interviews, ranges from more than 1,500 interviews with elected representative, with civil society organizations, with the NGOs working in this sector, with administration like commissioners, deputy commissioners. When you talk about elected representative, we have met with mayors, also the MPs, MLAs, and the councillors of the cities. We have also met the academicians who are actually working on this sector. After completion and visiting these states, we have come across with a very detailed report of each state. And recently, we have come across with India's first national urban governance index that we call Praja's Urban Governance Index, which actually ranked all states across India based on very fundamental things. That is how we may rank our cities or states when you talk about urban local government or city governance. So if you are from different cities, I'm very excited to share that we will want to talk about your state, your city, as well as in this study. Okay, so be with us, and let's hope we will enjoy this journey of the urban governance. Okay, let's talk about why this urban governance index is actually required at a first place, and why we need to understand the importance of city governance, why we want to talk about empowered local government at grassroots level. To answer this, I have a very interesting video to share. Let's see this, and then we could move forward. Yeah.
In the last 30 years, India has witnessed rapid urbanization. In 1911, The share of urban population in India was merely 10.29%. It took more than 100 years for this share to grow to 34% by 2018. But in the next 10 years, that is by 2030, it is predicted to jump to 50% or more. Evidently, India's urban population and urban areas are seeing an exponential rise. The economic growth of the country in the last few decades has caused its urban areas to attract millions of Indians in search for better opportunities. City infrastructures are not being able to cope with the demands of such mass migration. Today, many urban issues such as flooding of cities during heavy rains, in the last
Yeah,
30
so
of
sorry.
infectious diseases, unending traffic, sewage and waste management, lack of basic amenities such as drinking water, healthcare, and so on are crying for attention. Recognizing this problem, in 1993, the 74th Constitutional Amendment Act was enacted to strengthen urban local governance. It directed the states to devolve 18 functions that would be better performed at the local level to the city governments. Unfortunately, only a few states have done a partial devolution, and most of the state governments have been reluctant in transferring these 18 functions. As a result, India is one of the least administratively decentralized nations in the world. Many schemes have been introduced by the central government in the recent past, such as Jawaharlal Nehru Urban Renewal Mission, Smart Cities Mission, Amrut, Swachh Bharat, and so on. Some of the cities, owing to the state political will, have been able to harness these for betterment of urban areas, but even so, Indian cities seem to lack in livability standards compared to other metropolises in the world. Praja, with its work and experience in urban governance, decided to find answers to this problem. Praja decided to map the urban governance structures and practices across all states in India. Having spent 3 years visiting different cities across all states in India and having studied their urban governance architecture and practices, Praja was able to understand the root causes of the problem. The 74th Amendment and various schemes launched by the centre to revitalize urban India have not worked. Praja realized that the existing structures of governance would not be able to implement the 74th Amendment and the central government schemes. What we require to implement these efficiently is empowered grassroots democracy. This is the heart of the matter, and to advocate and achieve this, Praja has developed the Urban Governance Index. The Urban Governance Index will rank all states in India across different themes while highlighting their governance journey and best practices. This will enable other states to draw inspiration, learn, and implement similar practices. It will be a unique tool to facilitate advocacy, planning, and citizen participation. Indian states need to commit to making cities more democratic, empowered, and accountable. Only then can cities fulfill the aspirations of our citizens. In 2023, India will complete 75 years as an independent republic. Let us recommit ourselves to further strengthening our democracy by empowering grassroots institutions. The Urban Governance Index will help states pave a roadmap towards effective city governance.
Yes. So with that video, I think we can relate everything that we have discussed till now. We have started this session with defining you what are the key challenges we face uh, in Indian cities right now, as well as we also acknowledge the importance of local governance in Indian cities right now. So Harshita, are you there? Please, if you want to share something with you with us, that will be great. Harshita?
Audible now.
Yeah, I can hear you better.
Okay, yeah. I'm really sorry. I apologize for all the technological mess that happened. So yeah, sir, that's it. I would just like to add that this video
Oh,
and
okay. So, Harshita, we can't hear you. No issue. We will love to hear if the audio is there. Okay. Moving towards the more important thing. Why we need, I believe you all would agree with me that why we need to talk about local self-government or strengthening the city governance right now. Because, as you all know, your states, your cities will expand. We are expecting to like more than 50% of the total population will live in urban areas by 2050. That means more population, more concentration of population, more challenges, more. So why what we need? We need an institutional framework, the empowered institutional academies who can answer or who can provide the best solution. I totally agree with the Dr. Dean sir, Yugal sir, who actually talked about why we need strong institutional frameworks at ground level to answer. Okay, let's talk about this study. In this study, has focused on four major thematics. If you are a, a student, a researcher, or an expert, you can directly relate to with me upon four things. If you talk about any problem in cities, as an institution or the local government, you can directly rate this or rank these or understand the importance of this in four thematics. First one is the empowered elected representative and legislative structure. That means how empowered our mayor, how empowered our councillors are, how empowered actually our city government are. Let's talk about empowered city administration, whether the commissioners or the functions vested with the local government are there or enough. But let's talk about citizen empowerment. That means, as a citizen, do we have a power to participate in democracy at local level? Let's answer it. Also, more important thing, when you talk about physical empowerment, that means if you have to perform, you need some financial stability. Let's answer whether our Indian cities perform well in this part or not. Okay. So basically, this urban governance index I have compiled with the 42 indicators. We have ranked all states, studied each states and their major cities on 4 thematics and 13 sub-thematics. Let's explain or learn about what this urban governance index actually talks about. Okay, so again, I have a very short video. I believe video is the best possible way to communicate. So let's hear this video out. At the end of this video, you will get to know about the IS index. So let me play this video.
The Urban Governance Index is an instrument that ranks states to indicate where they stand in terms of real empowerment of local self-government and grassroots democracy. This index is based on the principle of subsidiarity, which states that what individuals can accomplish on their own initiative and efforts should not be taken away from them by a higher authority. The Urban Governance Index will help in identifying the need for reforms, for capacity building, and in advocating for an empowered urban governance structure. Structurally, the index is divided into 4 themes, 13 sub-themes, and 42 indicators. It ranks states according to their performance in terms of bringing about real empowerment of the city governments. Let's understand the main themes of this index one by one. Theme 1: Empowered city elected representatives and legislative structures. The first theme looks at how empowered the city mayor, city councillors, and the council are. It also looks at the underlying municipal acts which govern the cities in different states and the extent or the lack of empowerment brought by them. Keeping the principle of subsidiarity in mind, our cities need more real powers to serve and fulfill the needs of its people. We need to empower the city government as a law-making body like the state and the central governments. Hence, the first theme looks at how empowered is the city mayor, the city councillor, and the council body. Theme 2: Empowered city administration. This theme will look at the existing authority and powers of the city government. It also looks at the extent of devolution of the 18 functions by the states to the cities as per the 74th Constitutional Amendment mentioned in the 12th Schedule. State governments not only need to adequately devolve these functions to the city governments, but also devolve the power and capacity to execute these functions. Therefore, this theme looks at power and authority of the city government, the devolution of 18 functions, and the management and control of human resources. Theme 3: Empowered citizens. The citizen must be at the center of all planning and development. It is for them that the government are working. It is imperative that the government involve the citizens in the decision-making process. Furthermore, this needs to be formalized and the citizens must be empowered to participate. Hence, this theme looks at open data portal, right to elect mayor and recall councillor, citizen consultative mechanism, and grievance redressal. Theme 4: Fiscal empowerment. Fiscal empowerment and financial autonomy are the bedrock of any government. Hence, Indian cities need to have access to adequate, time-bound and formula-based fiscal transfers from state governments, along with autonomy to raise their own resources by levying taxes and charges. Therefore, this theme studies the devolution of financial power, systemic fiscal transfers and financial accountability. With the help of these 4 themes, 13 sub-themes and 42 indicators, the Urban Governance Index will facilitate a complete understanding of city governance and help in identifying gaps and solutions. Praja believes that the Urban Governance Index will create a path for realizing what the founding fathers of the Constitution intended, that is, true Swarajya, freedom and democracy at the grassroots.
Yes, so true Swaraj, that means the power with the citizens at the local level. What the powers to take decisions, to participate, to perform, as well as to rate. Okay, let's talk about now what this Urban Governance Index basically rank our city. So if you are from Patna, so Bihar, UP, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, and any other Indian state, this is the status. So basically, we have ranked the states. Top 5 states were Odisha, who ranked first in our index, Maharashtra second, Chhattisgarh third, Kerala fourth, and Madhya Pradesh fifth. We have bottom states as well, who Jharkhand, Arunachal Pradesh, Meghalaya, Manipur, Nagaland. These states actually performed not very best. So basically, if you talk about this Odisha, who actually ranked first, have scored out of 100 in a fundamental index 56. That means we have a very good scope to work on the basics, that is to make the democracy work at the ground level. Let's talk about what we have to share as an indicator. So if you refer to the indicators, all the 42 indicators are in this column. And if you refer to the state, we can say red blocks everywhere. That means in each indicator, the state have not performed well. To refer to this, I will at the end share the Urban Governance Index report with you. But let's talk about one by one on a very basic thematics. How empowered are elected representative when you talk about Indian cities? And with this, I would like to involve you now in this discussion and want to answer and use the chat box, please. Whether have you ever interacted with your mayor or local councillor in your city? Or yes, how was your experience? So let me answer this first. I haven't interacted with any of the councillor or any of the mayor of individual city before joining Praja. So as a citizen, are we aware about the powers we have? So have you ever, anyone from the participant have ever been contacted his or her councillor or a mayor in the city? I just wanted to know. Okay, Harshita said he has been a part of Praja Fellowships. Okay, Varsha said yes, but not satisfactory. That is interesting. Ricky said no. Ravikant said no. Yes. So I believe as an audience or as a universal answer, we need to ask this question. Uh, that's the answer. No. Why we haven't contacted our local counselor or we know about? So I usually take sessions in different colleges across India. I ask this basic question: do you know your prime minister? What is the name of your prime minister? The answer is too obvious. We have Narayan Modi, who's the head of the government, who's the head of prime minister. What is the name of the chief minister of your respective states? 99% citizens or youth will answer this. But if we ask ourselves, do you know your mayor of a city? What is the name? I can definitely gonna answer this. 95% of youth or citizens who've been a part of the webinars or others will say no. Why? Do you know that the mayor of New York City is more powerful than the elected representative or the member of parliament? In India, we know about all the powers we have for central governments. We know about the powers of state governments. But do we know about adequately about our power vested with mayors or councillors in India? The answer is no. I'm very happy to see some responses from our participant who say yes, they know about their mayor. So kudos to you all. I really appreciate that you know. And if you want to unmute yourself, if you want to, I would love to share know your experience as well. Huma say yes. Varsha say yes. They know about their counselor or mayor. Uh, so we have the couple of responses from various parts. And Dr. Huma said yes, Varsha said yes, Devilal said yes. That's great. But the core idea is when you talk about any citizen, any youth as a whole, uh, they won't know about their local counselor or the mayor of the city. Why? Okay, so let's talk about who is our counselor. So we, as a citizen, can elect or be a part of. We can elect three elected representatives. First one is the member of parliament, who represent us in the Lok Sabha or the central government. We can elect our the member of legislative assembly who represent us in our respective state assemblies. We can also elect our local councillor if we are living in urban areas as an councillor, or we call it Nagar Parshad, Nigam Parshad, Parshad in somewhere. If you live in South, you can call them a corporator, Nagar Seva, and so on and so forth. So we have couple of names who actually we call our elected representatives. Why these elected representatives are important? The answer is, uh, let's suppose if you are facing some challenges related to your street light, who will you contact? The member of parliament? Or do you directly call your member of parliament? No. You call your member of legislative assembly? I guess no. But who will call? As an elected representative, we have one person we know, that is the local councillor. That means the Nagar Sevak or the corporator. Yes, Varsha said corporator, correct. They will all say others. So I totally agree. Who will you contact when you face any challenges at the ground level? You will contact your councillor. Okay, let's talk about if you are living in cities, your councillor or mayor have powers? Okay, let's talk about the status. In our study, we come across with this fact that if we have asked this question, that is the mayor, who is the actually the head of the council or the city, whether his or her post is co-terminus with the city government. Matlab, if we pointed on as very simple language, if we elect a prime minister, whether his or her position is fixed for 5 years, it totally depends on the government. Yes, let's talk about the state government. Whether our chief minister been elected for 5 years, we indirectly the party, the majority, the party who is in majority elect them for 5 years. Yes, but do you believe, if I answer this, do you believe that if in case of mayor, we have law that talked about the state laws itself to mandate these mayor to be a part of their chair for very limited period. So we have 7 states like Arunachal Pradesh, Delhi, Goa, Gujarat, Himachal Pradesh, Karnataka, and Maharashtra, where the mayor term is only for limited less than the 5 years. So in case of, for example, let's take, I will give you an example of Delhi. Can you believe the Delhi mayor has been appointed only for 1 year? Only for 1 year? Okay, let's talk about Maharashtra now. Maharashtra, we have 2.5 year term of mayor. That means if she or she is elected as a mayor, he should be there only for that particular duration. After that, there will be a re-election of that mayor directly or indirectly. Why it is important to understand for us also that if you are appointed or elected representative, okay, who will we blame when we talk about central government? We blame our prime minister for sure. We all blame our central government. If central government is not performing, our prime minister is not performing. Uh, any problem in defense area, in any problem in taxation, who we blame? We blame our prime minister. Yes. If we have any problem when we talk about the state government, let's talk about in case of Uttarakhand, the last year we have disaster, we have various problems when we talk about state politics itself. Who we blame? We blame the chief minister, who is the head of the government. Yes, But in case of city government, who we blame? Ideally, we should blame the mayor of the city. Yes, I believe you all agree with me. We should blame the mayor, who is the head of the corporation or the local government. But do he or she have the power to be answered or hold accountable? The answer is no. Let's talk about the other question. Does the mayor hold the independent authority to appoint the chairperson of standing committee or subject committee? If you are a law student, you have already read about the importance of the committees. For example, the cabinet ministry, as well as in state, we have certain ministries, cabinets, or the standing committees. Similarly, in cities, we have such important committees who should be headed by the mayor. But in most of the cases, the mayor is not accountable for that. Let's talk about the very good, interesting fact. Do you know your MP and MLAs receive a salary, fixed salary? I'm from Delhi. I know we have a very good tussle between the member of parliament as well as MLAs when we talk about salaries. In most of the cases, our MLAs or the member of legislative assemblies or a member of parliament receive a very good amount of salaries, relates to 50, more than 50,000 to 1 lakh. Yes. Do you know your counselor who are working at the ground level receive a salary? The answer is only in 13 states out of 28 states, the counselor have a fixed salary or a remuneration. Can you believe this? This is an eye opener for us also. As an elected representative, if we are working at ground, do we supposed to not receive a supporting sum, supporting salary? In most of the cases, out of that is 19 states, we do not have a fixed salaries for counselors. Let's talk about your cities. I can share my experience. In Delhi, we have only 300 rupees allowances per meeting for counselors. In Maharashtra, the number is great because Mumbai, as you all know, is the financial capital. And with that leverage, we have Municipal Corporation of Mumbai, that is BMC, Bombay Municipal Corporation, give 25,000 as a salary to a counselor. But let's talk about other states. The second number is from Raipur. They gave 18,000 salaries to the counselor. We have Amritsar, who gives 13,000 prox salaries to counselors. But as a fundamental question, I will just ask you or pose this question to you all. Do our elected representative need salary? I know, Harshita, your mic is not working, but I would badly need you this point because you are there to answer this question. Basically, Harshita has worked with all the municipal councillors in Delhi as well as in Mumbai for more than 7 to 8 months. She, as a student, realized that why our counselor needs a salary, as well as why we need to empower them when we talk about yeah. So Harshita, you say salary acts as an incentive to them to work. More or less, I just want to do as an experience or as an urban practitioner who actually work with elected representatives in Delhi and Mumbai and other states as well. Let me give you an example. Your counselor, who we elect at the lowest level, that is a ward or the municipal corporation level, how he performs his or her duty. He starts his or her day with visiting or taking rounds of the ward. Then he open an office where all the citizens will come and file complaints related to solid waste management, related to street lighting, related to any other. For example, if you are studying in your college and when you step out from your university, what you see, first of all, it is there, the garbage is there in the vicinity. Who is responsible for that? Most probable answer is the counselor who is responsible for that. So as a counselor, I have various duties to perform, but as an incentive, what we get in most of the cases, nothing. So what we believe that as a counselor, we should receive a fixed salary. Let me give you an insight about what we talk about as an empowered council. And this is interesting for all law students. I just wanted to share this. As a law student, you may relate directly that why we need certain kinds of rule books to perform. If I give you this situation, that do you know that city government, who is actually performed as in the third tier government in India, like central government have certain rule book, state government have certain rule books. Do our city government have rule books? So ideally, they should have a document which we call procedure and conduct for business rule, that actually guide these corporation to perform, like raise questions, raise anything. Do our city government have this document? Let me answer this. 16 out of 29 states do not have a procedure and for conduct and business rule. Can you believe this? This is also an eye opener for us. Do you know that only in 11 states council have authority to pass no confidence motion against mayor? This is interesting. As a law student, can you imagine when you have to sue someone or you have to refer certain kind of documents, correct? You have to refer certain sections, you have to refer certain documents, or certain, we may say certain rules. Okay. But if you have to work for local government, the rules are not there. 16 out of 29 states do not have procedure for conducting business rule when you talk about the council. Let's talk about, do our councillors or elected representatives are actually empowered? I don't agree with you. So let's move to the next theme of this study. Let's talk about city administration. I hope if you yeah, so let's talk about the city administration. We now understand the importance of elected representative, empowered elected representative. Let's talk about the city administration itself, because if you talk about services in India, or the services you have performed by government, we have, first one is the elected representative, second one is the city administration or the executive. The city administration, let's see the status. Yeah. Moving to the next slide, that talk about how, as per the 74 Constitution Amendment, ideally all the 18 function which are directly responsible for city government should be performed by the city government. Can you believe there is not a single city in India who actually perform all the 18 function which were guided by central government in the Constitution? There is not a single corporation in India who actually perform all the 18 functions. We have Mumbai, who actually perform only 9 function out of 18 function on their own. Otherwise, all the other services are shared by various authority or agencies. Let me give you an insight of your states as well. So if you are from Delhi, what's the status? Let's talk about Delhi. In Delhi, we have services distributed amongst various agencies. Central government is there to perform duties. State government is there to perform duties, as well as the municipal corporation is there to perform duties. But let me give you an insight. We have only one single function, that is solid waste management, which is performed by all the municipal corporation in India. So I usually, on a very lighter note, I just had a session with one of the college in Delhi, and I asked this question: what do you mean by municipal corporation? And he answered, on a very lighter note, he answered, कूड़ा उठाने वाली इंस्टीट्यूट. तो मैंने सोचा क्या कूड़ा उठाने वाला इंस्टीट्यूट है मेरा म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन. Then I actually look out a report. Actually, it is, because in all the cities in India, the common function all the municipal corporation perform on their own is the solid waste management, whereas the other municipal corporation are performing some more or less or other functions. But whether when you talk about why it is important that municipal corporation should perform all these 18 functions, my submission would be, let's take an example. When there is a road constructed by the state government, on the very next day, municipal corporation will be there to erect one pole which is responsible for street light. Very next day, the electricity board, who is also responsible for supplying the electricity, will also dig one pothole there. Let's talk about the water supply department. So there, if all the function who are directly relates to you are performed by the single agency, that is by the city government, our works will be better or be easier. So that's why we need one authority or agency that look after all the services that directly relate to you. And for as per the 74 Constitution Amendment, all the functions that are directly related to you should be with the municipal corporation. But in actual, state government across India won't allow municipal corporation for now to perform these functions. And the very basic answer they give is we don't have enough manpower. So let's talk about manpower now. Do our municipal corporation have adequate manpower? I will answer this to like after the couple of slides. But let's answer this. If you so for example, if you are working on an organization who say we have a lack of manpower, do you answer that? Like, so if he or she answer, don't have an authority to appoint new manpower. The same answers goes with the municipal corporation. In municipal corporations across India, all the state government, the final authority to sanction the manpower are with the state government and not with the municipal corporation. So, for example, if I'm a municipal corporation and I'm a mayor of a city and I need, for example, 40 chief engineer or engineers to perform certain kind of duty, whether I have whether I have a power to appoint them, the answer lies in this slide. All the black dots in this map represent that the final central authority are with the state government. That means in all states across India, final authority to appoint a single administration in municipal corporation are with state government. Can you believe this? This is very interesting to note. Let's talk about whether the municipal corporation have power to recruit itself. Recruitment process are also vested with the state government majority. We have very limited examples like Raipur, Bhopal, Ahmedabad, and Mumbai, Coimbatore as well, where the municipal corporation can start the recruitment process, but the final authority are with the state government. So if you will, sir, will agree with me, the state governments want to hold all the powers, as he also pointed in the beginning. Let's talk about the Northeast. Northeast, we have a similar case. The final recruitment process are with the state government, where we have Itanagar or the Arunachal Pradesh as a Tripura, as a municipal corporation, they can perform their recruitment process. Very important point. As we talk about that, we need adequate manpower to perform well. This is the status of all the municipal corporation we have studied. It's there in this slide that you can see we have corporation which have more than 30% vacant post in their city government. We have cities like Gurugram with the 81%. That means if we have 100 sanctioned posts, the 81 seats are not still vacant. And we believe that India is the youngest population, have more than potential to work on. The answer lies there in the slide. We don't have enough power to even perform duties like for municipal administration. Okay, I can just pause it for now, and we could take some questions in between, and then we could focus on empowered citizen, then the physical decentralization, as well as the most important part, the physical decentralization. Okay, so Harshita, if you are there, do we have any questions in the chat box?
Yes, we have.
Okay, you can assist me so I can just answer that right away.
Yeah, so there is this question by Ujjwal. He asked that, so would you like to comment on the role of SPVs? SPVs are these special performing vehicles. Am I audible or no?
Okay, I can't hear you, but Ujjwal asked about the SPVs performing, functioning in urban planning and regulatory and health, why they are held no accountable. Thank you, Ujjwal, for this question, and this is very interesting question. Let me give you an insight. First of all, the smart city mission was introduced in 2015, and which was started after the new government has been formed. It actually talked about to create 100 smart cities across India. The vision to establish these smart cities to empower or strengthen the very basic services at ground levels. That means 100% water supply, use of artificial intelligence. We can see such towers like when you talk about open spaces, it also talked about better solid waste management in city and the other public transport, green transport, and others. But actually, it also mandates cities to perform or work under an special purpose vehicle. The special purpose vehicle were there to actually help the municipal corporation as an ideal to, because we all know, and we have recently came across in data itself that talked about our municipal corporation, who is actually responsible for city government or city management, are not very adequate with manpower, and also they don't have any capacities to perform such functions. So with an idea to create a new kind of parallel institute in cities to make them smart, the smart special purpose vehicle were introduced. But the irony is the special purpose vehicle were there or headed by most of the in most of the cities by the private the organization or the commissioner of the city, and not by the elected representative. That means eh, I answer this question: who when you who is responsible when you talk about income tax? When you who's talk about when who's responsible when you talk about defense deal anything? The prime minister. Yes. Likewise, if you have any problems or any probable solution, who should be responsible or who should be accountable? The mayor. Yes. But in case of SPVs, in most of the states or cities in India, we have head who is the commissioner of the SPVs. That means we have focused on the administrative part of the city management, not the core, that is the citizen participation as well as the elected representative participation. Why we fail in these kind of implementation or the steps we have undertaken right till now? The main answer is lack of citizen participation as well as lack of political will as well. So let me give you an example of SPV. I have visited the Dharamshala for this study only, and I met the mayor of a city who ideally should be the head of SPV, the special purpose vehicle of the Dharamshala Smart City. But who is the head of the Dharamshala Smart City special purpose vehicle? The commissioner of that particular municipal corporation. So when I discussed this with the commissioner, he said, I need a two-lane cycling path in Dharamshala city. If you have ever visited Dharamshala or you also living in the Dehradun and other hill stations, you can directly relate in these hill stations. We don't need cycle paths to be constructed. Okay, we need walking paths. We need the other because in the smart city mission or the smart mission proposal, they propose for this cycle track. Can you believe this? No implementation were till date because the elected representative, the mayor or the citizen of Dharamshala city have opposed to this cause. That's why no implementation is there till date. I believe I have answered your question, Ujjwal, that the case of SPV, nothing is performing until we focus on two things, that is citizen participation through elected representative representation. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Ujjwal, for this. I can move forward and let's talk about the citizen empowered citizen. I know we have very good insights about the elected representative part as well as the city administration. But as a citizen, what are the key powers or the key platforms we have for citizen participation? Let's discuss it. As an idea, citizen participation in the governance process plays a very important role. That means if you have to ensure accountability, transparency, and make government responsive to the need of the people, we should have empowered citizen at a core. Okay, let's talk about this status. Before this, I would love to see responses from your side. as a citizen, what are the platforms or which are the platforms you have participated in planning policy and city governance process? Do we have certain kind of platforms available for us? Let's answer this. So I know we have participants from different states as well as cities, but as a citizen, do you know or ever participated in city governance? Um, Let me answer this. So my answer is no. I haven't interacted or been a part of any kind of platforms where my suggestions will be welcome or I will be part of a city governance. Harshita, do you know such platforms in your city? Or if we have other participants who can share their view about their city or states? Uh, so Harshita said, in Mumbai, citizen participation is limited to election and filing complaints. True. Dr. Panjika said, thank you so much for that's great. But Ricky said no. Yes, that's true. Uh, do you know such platforms in central government? I guess we have some say in draft policy. I guess in state government we may have certain policies, but at a ground level, when you talk about 74 constitution amendment and other thing, the most important point is citizen participation. But as a citizen, do I have do as a citizen I have a power to participate? Let's explore the answer. Okay, but Harshita rightly pointed out that as a citizen in city government, we have only two platform in common at different cities. The first one is we can vote. Okay, as a citizen, we all have a power to vote. Correct? We can elect our elected representative at a ground level or at a state level and the central level. The second one is at the complaint management system. So as a citizen, we can complain, okay, for any civic issue. Am I audible? My voice is clear, yes? Okay, that's great. Thank you. Let's explore what, as a 774 constitutional amendment, what power we have for citizens. Okay, under the 74 constitution amendment, which was enacted in 1992, it talked about establishment of ward committees. So let me give you a very layman language. You know about the MP constituencies, correct? You know about the MLA constituencies. But if you talk about city governance, we have ward level constituencies. That means if you elect a councillor or parshad or corporator, he or she belongs to one ward, a smallest unit of elected representative. Ward, okay. One ward, ideally, as per the 74 constitutional amendment, should have ward committee. Okay, I know most of you know about this, but uh, the ward committee, as an idea, should facilitate discussion at the very local level. That means the ward committee should be headed by a councillor, a local elected representative at a ground level, where the citizen should also participate in decision making processes as well. Let's talk about insights. Can you believe only 9 cities out of 29 cities we have covered in this study have a functional ward committee? Let's talk about, is your city is there in the list? We have cities like Ahmedabad, Aizwal, Bhubaneswar, Agartala, Delhi, Dharamshala, Imphal, Kochi, and Mumbai, which have functional ward committees. But the irony is, let me give you an insight as a law student also and as a citizen, it is very important to note here is the interpretation of the 74 constitutional amendment is the ward committee means a committee which should facilitate this dialogues at the local level. So where various state government have interpreted in that way, they have formed these ward committees at the zonal level. Zonal levels means if you club more than or around 10 wards, elected representative units, then we call it at a zone or at a headquarter level. So these ward committees has been constituted in Delhi and Mumbai at a very zonal level. That means In a true sense, we haven't interpreted the way it should be. Okay, but we have an outliers also. Uh, Let me give you an example of area sabha now. When you talk about Area Sabha was introduced after the JNNU, Jawaharlal Nehru Urban Renewal Mission, and the Citizen Participation Law, which actually talked about that at the grassroots level, we should facilitate decision-making processes at a very local level. That means at the polling booth level. Can you believe our constitution or our law like give a platform for us to participate in city governance through Area Sabha or at a polling level? This is very interesting to note here. But the irony is only in 3 out of these 29 cities which we have covered in this study have functional ward or area sabhas. These cities are, if you are from there, you are lucky that the area sabha or ward committees are functional. These are Aizwal, Dharamshala, and Gangtok. Can you believe only 3 cities have functional area sabha? 9 cities out of 29, like for example, the which I have called Dharamshala, Mumbai, and others, have functional ward committees at a zonal level. Let's talk about the very important part. As a citizen, do we have adequate or ample data to analyze what how cities are performing? The answer is only 3 cities or municipal corporation have a good data portal, open data portal in their municipal corporation website. These cities are Bhubaneswar, Mumbai, and Raipur. No other city have adequate open portal where citizen can directly open their municipal corporation website and analyze these. This is very interesting to note. Uh, as a student or as a citizen, we also have to know 2 things. First one is how your city government is performing when you talk about physical strengthening. Now, so what is the budget? We all analyze, or if you open any news channel on the budget day of central government budget, we all discuss about this. How many income tax revised? Do we have income tax revision? Do we have railway budget? Do we have adequate amount for gas, LPGs, and others? We also analyze the state government budgets. But as a citizen, do we analyze the city government budgets? I guess we don't analyze this. The most important part is whether these information are accessible. So only in 4 cities out of 29 cities, Panji, Ahmedabad, Mumbai, and Bhubaneswar have this kind of a data that we call meeting minutes, as well as the budgets published in their municipal corporations. So that's interesting to note. As a citizen, municipal corporations are also very reluctant to share information in an online medium. That's true. Okay, let's talk about as very importantly pointed out by Harshita, that as a citizen we have 2 ways to participate. First one is to elect. Second one is to complain. So as a citizen, rightly pointed out Harshita that we have only 2 ways. We only elect or then we complain. Okay. So as a citizen, do we have adequate role to answer in that? Let's answer this. This is very interesting slide. This slide actually talk about, do we as a platform have for citizen participation in area sabha, in ward sabha, in budget making, or even the smart city. Usual, I guess this slide will answer your point on smart city as well. So as we all know, smart city mission have this different from other mission, as it facilitated the public participation in a way that you can also contribute in your city development. But the answer to this slide is we have very limited examples where the city government have actually opened platforms for public participation. We have Ahmedabad, where public can participate in ward committees. We have Mangaluru, we have Dharamshala, we have Bhubaneswar, where ward committees public can participate. But in other cities, you can see this black hand there. That means no public participation at all at any level in the city government. That is true. When we talk about 74 constitutional amendment, or when we talk about strengthening urban local government or democracy at a grassroots level, are we talking about citizen not being a part of that? So I believe the status is this only till now, that in most of the cities, You don't have any platform to even citizen can participate. Okay, let's talk about the Northeast as well. So in Northeast, we have come across a very good example that in area sabhas constituted in Assam, but it does not facilitate public participation. That is why is there no idea. Mizoram, Sikkim have public participation in local level. None of the states where ward committees are formed, they facilitate public participation. So Northeast also talked about this. So that means in all the states, majorly, we have limited platforms to participate as a citizen. Okay, let's talk about the important part, that is the citizen part, the complaint management system. So let me give an example. Praja has initiated a project in 2003, where we teamed up with the BMC, the Bombay Municipal Corporation, as you all know, and we have created a single complaint number system for all civic complaints when you talk about cities. So we have a single number that we call 1916, which was there where all the city government, like all the citizens could file a civic complaint. Okay, well, let's talk about the status of your city. So if you are from Patna, if you are from Lucknow, Ranchi, Kolkata, Raipur, Bhopal, Ahmedabad, Udaipur, Delhi, and other cities, let's explore your city. So the checkbox, so the tick marks are when you answer the existing grievance mechanism of city government, integration of different modes, use of technologies, feedback mechanism, action taken reports, complaints closed by citizens. If you talk about complaint management system in cities, this is important that you should file complaint for sure. But when you file a complaint, does your administration hold accountable for every complaint you file? In most of the cases, ideally it should be that the feedback system should be enabled at a very ground level. When you file a complaint, you should receive a registered complaint, your registered complaint number. Then you should also receive a feedback that your complaint has been received and your complaint has been timely managed. Okay, in most of the cities, we don't have existing grievance redressal mechanism. The status is this: city like Raipur, Mangaluru do not have an active citizen grievance redressal mechanism system level at a state level. Dharamshala has a grievance redressal mechanism at a city government level. There we have a very good example where they have integrated all the modes. They have also used a technology. They have also used a feedback mechanism as well as the action taken reports. Let me pause it here before I could move forward to the physical empowerment. Let's answer a couple of questions, and then we could move to the second last section of this presentation. So, do we have questions? Harshita, if you can help me. Yeah.
We have a question. We have
Yes. So I can see Seema. Yes, Seema has raised one question, very interesting question, I must say. How could local government foster SDG implementation through direct international cooperation? Salute to your question. That's a very good, valid question we should answer. Let's talk about the idea of sustainable development goals. As you all know, as a student, we all heard about this. It talked about the grassroots level. First one is the, for example, if you talk about any sustainable development goal, you talk about health, education. It also talked about investment, like so and so, very important basic function. But do as a cities, Indian cities have a power to solve all the problems on their own? The answer is no. Yes, we have already discussed that we don't have enough power, manpower to function. So yes, we need international collaboration or cooperation as well. But the real idea of the sustainable development goal is central government is looking after this project or the implementation. So whether my municipal corporation is responsible for the SDGs goal in cities, I would answer in that way. The central government or the state government haven't allowed them to even participate or comment on that part. I know you may want to agree with me, but this is an irony and this is a status that in most of the municipal corporations they are grappling with their own issues like lack of funds, like lack of manpower, that lack of how can I say administrative accountability. So, Harshita, if you might work, she will give you an insight that administration and the elected bodies in municipal corporations are always fight. Okay, so elected representative will say city administration is not working because city administration not under them; they are under the state government. The core idea is this, and then we are talking about sustainable development goal. We should also focus on the basic crossroad. Yeah. Uh, so I can also give you some examples of recent development which some municipal corporation have performed. So if you talk about the bonds issued by Lucknow Municipal Corporation, recently by Kanpur, recently by other municipal corporation, now we have around Surat is the most important example, how they have contributed or explored the private investment when you talk about this. Okay, but what we believe, why we need the private or international players to solve the problems at your grassroots level or the city level? Why you are not self-sustainable? Why you are not there to answer or hold accountable when you talk about basic problems? Chetan asked one question: do you think the present system of local self-government help in improvement at the rural area? Okay, so let's talk about the rural and urban distribution first. We all agree with that. In future, we are talking about the brain drain from Indian cities when we talk about the the youth who actually want to develop not their own cities but develop the work in other states as well as the countries itself. Whereas when you talk about rural areas, what is the basic difference between rural and urban? In cities or in urban areas, we have opportunities of what? Opportunities of better healthcare, opportunities of better education, opportunities of job, opportunity to like opportunity to even income, like to earn more. Okay, that's why from rural areas we may say may have migrations. Okay, but if city government will perform well, what will be if the local self government or the city will perform well? What we will have a better adequate environment for urban poor as well. Let me answer this. So we all have seen slums across cities. Yes, totally agree with me. So if you are living in Dharamshala, if you are living in Dehradun, Lucknow, Delhi, Mumbai, anywhere, we have slums. Correct. Who is responsible for slums? One may say the urban planning is the core issue. I say the local government is responsible. Why? In recent time, or if you heard about a new scheme, the rental housing scheme, which was recently introduced by central government. What is this rental housing scheme? We are talking about place to live, a place for adequate housing. That all means the migrant who come for like employment opportunity or for better healthcare system or education when you talk about rural to urban. Okay, so who is responsible? I guess local self government is responsible. If the local self government improved or if we strengthen our grassroots democracy, then what we do? We have better services, we have better opportunities for each and everyone in living in city. That means urban poor as well as vulnerable population living in this city. So yeah, Harshita, do we have another question, so I can just move to? Oh, okay, that's great. So I just wanted to move towards the next section before I could open the floor for discussion and involve Vishal and other experts to comment on this presentation. So let's talk about the physical empowerment. At a core, we believe, along with the devolution of functions, control over finances is essential to carry out functions efficiently. You all may agree with me that if we have adequate funds with us, we will perform well. Yes. Thus, control over sources of revenue should be shifted to city government, actually. Yes. Let's see the status. before this data, I just wanted to give you an insight. As a student or as a citizen, you must be aware about the system of funds when you talk about government. We have central government who collects certain taxes from us. That in case of income tax, central GST, customs, and others. What we do, they under the Central Finance Commission, as per the recommendation of them, they transfer these funds or share to this respective state government. Okay, the state government is there who collects also on their own revenue, like state GST, electricity taxes, excise duty, stamp duty, etc. They have two sources: own revenues as well as the share by the central government. Whereas, let's talk about central government. Local government. Local government have their own sources. Like for example, we all pay property taxes. If you live in city, if you are living in a house owned by you, you will pay a property tax. Correct? If you watch any movie or anything, we pay entertainment taxes to municipal corporation. If you park your vehicle anywhere in the corporation limit, you also pay parking charges. These are some of the examples that how the municipal corporation generate their own revenues. Let's talk about the percentage itself. Let me give an insight that local government at present have very limited own source of revenue. No municipal corporation in India is actually self-sustained when you talk about share of their own revenue when you talk about expenditure compared to their expenditure. So that means, in a very plain language, what we earn is very less than what we expend in case of municipal corporation. So what is the solution? We completely based on the state government fund. Because as per the 74 Constitution Amendment, state government should facilitate State Finance Commission, which actually guides state government to state to share these funds to the local government. As per the State Finance Commission, they say, for example, if you have 100 rupees, state government have 100 rupees, they will say 64 rupees should be with the rural areas and 38 rupees will be with the municipal corporation. Okay. But the current status is most of the states who actually have who should follow the state recommendation of State Finance Commission, whether they haven't followed that part, also they haven't recommended to part or to they haven't taken any actions when you talk about State Finance Commission. So as a municipal corporation, I don't have any adequate funds to perform because my own revenue is very less. Then what is the probable solution? I should change my tax slabs, change my own source of revenues, may initiate, for example, we pay 10 rupees parking fees. In most of the cases, if we are paying 10 rupees parking fee, it should be 20 rupees because we, as a municipal corporation, we don't have any own services. Let's explore the answers now. We have asked this very fundamental questions to each city when we visited them. Does the city government hold independent authority to introduce new taxes, charges as per the Municipal Corporation Act, or the municipal corporation have give power to them to even introduce new taxes? Does the city government hold independent authority to revise these taxes or charges? Or does the council have independent authority to approve the budget according to the State Municipal Corporation Act? So can you believe 17 states in India do not have do not give independent authority to introduce new taxes and charges to their municipal corporation? This is very interesting and this is very eye-opening, even shocking for us, that as a citizen, we expect our municipal corporation to perform well. Whether the state government have devolved this function or the powers to them, the answer is no. 17 states do not have independent authority to revise the tax rate charges. So if the state government have or the municipal corporation or the state government decided that you can only collect 10 rupee charge for property taxes, I'm just giving a random example. No municipal corporation in these 17 states would allow to change this tax rate itself. 40 states do not have authority to approve budgets. So if you're an organization, if you have certain kind of budget, you will say that I will spend in 100 rupees in education. You will say 100 rupees in education health. But let's suppose your state government won't believe you or agree with you. So the final authority are with the state government in 14 states. Can you believe this? So that's how we are talking about empowered financial stability. With that, let's talk about how the top 5 states have performed as a whole. So top 5 states have, so when you talk about Odisha, Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh, Kerala, and Madhya Pradesh, we have they have performed well in certain parameters. I can just wanted to list down there. Constitution and structure of deliberative committees, like they have constituted DPC, that is the district planning committees and metropolitan planning committees. Like we have cases from Kerala, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, and Madhya Pradesh, where they have strengthened their local committees itself. Well, let's talk about the accessible open data portal. That is important when you talk about citizen participation. So we have cases from Odisha, Maharashtra, and Chhattisgarh, where they have certain kind of a data accessible for a citizen in their website. Whereas other municipal corporation across India won't have any kind of a data for citizens. Devolution of financial power. So we have states like Kerala, Maharashtra, and Madhya Pradesh who actually have devolved such certain functions to, like for example, approving the municipal corporation budgets when you talk about borrowing, the borrowing markets when you talk about budgeting itself. Answer to your SDG question itself, whether central the city governments are not have a power to even revise taxes in most of the state, do they have a power to even communicate with the international agencies? We can answer this. Let's talk about financial accountability. Publishing of budgets, account, and statement in the website. We have a very good example from Kerala and Maharashtra, where their municipal corporation have published their budget and accounts statement in their municipal corporation website. So that's how they have ranked in top 5 states, whereas the other states and cities are not performing in it. As a summation of whole, let's talk about at the final slide of our presentation about the status of urban governance. Then we could open this floor for discussion and questions. Let's talk about the immediate reforms or the short-term reforms when you talk about strengthening urban local governments at the local level. We believe as an organization that we should have a mayor hold accountable for when you talk about executive authority, that is commissioner. That means if I am a citizen, I should hold accountable my mayor for every problem, not the commissioner, because currently my commissioner is more powerful than the my mayor. So who is responsible for your problems in most of the cities? If I have to answer in a very knowledgeable way, I would answer your commissioner is, because in most of the cities the commissioner have more power to sanction budget, even to take decision than the mayor itself. Ideally the mayor should be hold executive authority over commissioner. We should also, and I haven't shared this part until now, but can you believe if you are elected as a counselor, for example, if we have a participant who want to be a counselor in his or her city, or he or she won the election of for a counselor, you will not receive a even a orientation program, even a session where you will brief about the municipal corporation, the act, the laws related to this. Even we have examples from cities where the municipal councillor don't have any assistance, don't have any research assistant, do not have any office. So can you believe how they will work or take decisions at your ground level? So what we believe, councillor should receive a fixed salary that ideally should be par than the commissioner. They should at least receive allowances for office expenses or the designated staff, because our MPs and MLAs have those, correct? So MP, if you are elected as an MP, member of parliament, you have your big bungalow in if you in Delhi itself or your constituency, correct? If you have MLA, you have a state so in the capital of that particular state, you have a very good apartment or maybe a bungalow there for you. But if you're elected as a counselor, do you have anything like this? The answer in most of the cases, no. Do you have designated staff? Yes, we all know MP and MLAs have designated staff. We have PA, they have a commission, they have different IS officer who assist them to answer or to raise them answers in their respective assembly. But do councillors in cities have this much? The answer is no. So Harshita is there who actually assisted councillor for 10 months to raise the questions in ward committees as well as a general body meeting in case of Mumbai as well as in Delhi. So she will know better, or she can relate that. Council should have privilege and immunity against all statement they make. That is important. Council should also have an independent authority to frame bylaws, even regulation when you talk about city government. As a practitioner or law from law background, we all know the importance of the bylaws. Okay, but whether the corporation or the council have power to regulate this or frame bylaws, the answer is no. So ideally, they should have independent authority to frame bylaws. Okay, let's move toward the empowered city administration. Ideally, all the 18 functions should be with the municipal corporation. By that, I mean all the 18 functions directly relates to me as a citizen should be performed by what? The city government. Autonomous body should be constituted that recruit the officials at the city level as well, because currently the state government is an important agency to form. Let's talk about empowered citizen. As a citizen, we should also have a power to right to recall. Also, ideally, when we file a complaint, it should be there for when we talk about our feedback as well. Let's talk about the final recommendation we have when we talk about physical empowerment. City government should receive a direct percentage share of GST. I know this is a big statement, but can you believe 60% of our GDP has been contributed by Indian cities? So Indians, if I say Indian cities are engines of growth, Indian growth. At the start of the session, Dean sir has already given us an insight about how important is to strengthen our cities or solve problems at cities too. If we want to be a economically well furnished country, we should focus on our cities because they contribute a lot when you talk about GDP. So that means city, if we have share of state government also in GST, we should ideally have share of GST in city government as well. So city government budget should include budgets of parastatal bodies and operate in city. That means if we have different agencies who are performing all functions in your city, ideally all the funds vested with these parastatal should be under one umbrella, that is for municipal corporation. No separate budgets, so no separate heads for the other. So with that, I conclude my presentation and would open floor for discussion, questions, insights from your cities as well. Would love to hear your experiences as well when you talk about urban governance. I believe at the end, you all will agree with me, we need to empower our city government at local level. We also have to realize the importance of citizen participation. So with that, I conclude my presentation and request the moderators to keep the question answer rounds as well. Yeah. So Vishal, over to you. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, first of all, for the wonderful session. I think there's another question from another point of view from Seema, sir, which you can see, sir. Most of the citizens hide their income to escape from taxes, and does it affect the administration?
Yeah. So to answer this, uh, could you like repeat this? I have lost your voice in between.
Okay,
So
so am I audible to you?
yeah, better now.
Yeah. The question is, most of the citizens hide their
Hmm.
income to escape from taxes. So, in that, does it affect the administration?
Correct. Why not? So let's take an example of the central government itself. So central government heavily relies on our income taxes. Correct. So when you talk about, so first of all, we have to realize that every penny we share with government, they directly or indirectly expend on us only. When you talk about infrastructure in cities, when you talk about infrastructure in rural areas, where when you talk about the infrastructure in cities or anywhere, who will give that infrastructure? The city government or the state government or the national government will do. But what about the sources of revenue? If you talk about income tax in India, it contributes to most of the infrastructure value or the expenditure we have in cities right now. So I believe as a citizen, if we unfair mean we try to escape from the income taxes or the other taxes, we directly or indirectly affecting us only when you talk about services. Because if we pay more taxes, if we do want to escape from our responsibility, that directly or indirectly everything will relate to it. For example, let's say an example of Indian Railways right now. You all will agree with me that Indian Railways have drastically changed over 2-3 years, or maybe more than that. Last 10 to 20 years, we are focusing on the services of Indian Railways. So we are happy to see bio toilets in all Indian Railways, right? We are happy to see the LED infrastructure we have in when you talk about stations. We all will happy to share about the cleanness in Indian Railways right now. How government have expected this kind of, first of all, it totally depends on priorities. Second one is the expenditures. So for that, as a citizen, it's our responsibility to contribute towards the better governed structure. Yeah, I hope I have answered, Vishal.
Sir, absolutely, absolutely. Sir, like, can I ask you something, sir?
Please, sir.
So for this governance, I think the government is also now moving towards privatization. We
Correct.
are getting news that government is moving toward privatization of Indian Railways slowly. As we can already see, we have 5 airports under the concept of privatization by the Adani Group, and I hope that will do excellent.
Correct.
But in the near future, this privatization will this take the cost to a higher level?
Yes. So personally, this is my personal view.
Hmm.
First of all, is who will be hold accountable when you talk about certain services in a long term. You will not call Adani if you won't find if someone dies at an airport due to fall of a false ceiling. Maybe. Who will you blame? You will blame your government.
Government, right?
Yes. So for that, we need government to be there to hold accountable. Let's suppose we may say, as an example of smart city mission, we say that smart cities are responsibilities of commissioners or the city administration or the private agencies who know better than the municipal corporation. But as I say, for example, let's take if I have a garbage in front of my home, do I call the commissioner or the Adani that you are responsible for that? No, no. We will answer or directly call who are elected, our municipal councillor, our mayor of that city, even the MLAs in case of road and bridges and other services, even in case of MP when you talk about budgets and other. But can we blame Adani or Ambani for that? The answer is no. But the other perspective to this is, yes, to perform better services or to deliver services, we need first the funds. Second is administration. That means, and third is the vision. And Indian government, and more specifically at city level, lacks in all three. We don't have any adequate. So, for example, adequate manpower, adequate funds, and the more specifically, the political will to perform.
So actually, in India right now, we have to look at the variable between the pace and the growth of urbanization,
Correct.
which in India is actually posing a very challenging situation to the urban governance. To have this thing sorted out, what we require is that there should be a balance between the institutional features and the devolution of mechanism. That is a federal framework where the cities themselves, under the mere guidance of the councillors or the mayors, they have to deliver the better quality of life for their residents, and
Yes.
they have to build ideas to generate an investment climate. Like in environmental SDG, we talk about climate change. We have
Yes.
to talk about an investment climate that is capable of sustaining that rapid growth. And that can only be done when we have a planned urbanization, which is
Correct.
actually required for the industry, for the service sector, and also for the rural rejuvenation.
For
And
sure.
the point, like what was Banaras 10 years ago? It was nothing. Just look at Banaras now.
Yes.
Like, not the empowerment of cities, it has the ability, the power to transform and translate into the work of like rural urbanizations, rural say like he's come to urban development because they have brought those agendas into the action. Like we if we start speaking on this, we can go a long way. It's an unending
And
topic,
it's completely relatable, and everyone would relate to that. Meanwhile, I have just shared the feedback form. Sorry, Vishal, the participant were asking for that. I have
sure,
shared
sure,
that.
not the
Yeah.
issue, sir.
Yeah. Meanwhile, but I'm not more agree with you on this particular point. First of all, is we have to focus on the potential we have in cities right now.
Absolutely.
When we talk about this, we also talk about value capturing finance. We also talk about transit orient development. We also talk about the infrastructure we create to capture these potential. For example, if uh, I just yesterday only we have some data up on the number of billionaires we have in cities in
Yes, correct,
across world.
correct.
Correct, the
Across
top
the
10.
world, correct, sir.
Yes, yes. So we have cities like London, New York, and others who have very good, the percentage of billionaires are there living in this city, in Indian cities as well. So, for example, if you are living in Mumbai, you are actually contributing to the India's GDPs more than you if you are living in, for example, the tier 2 cities. Correct.
Correct, sir,
Uh,
correct.
so we have very good potential to capture. The second thing is we need a political will, as well as we also have to understand that the current framework of this government, like for example, the hold of central government, the hold of state government, are not actually helping us to find out the solution. We are creating mess in Indian cities right now.
So
What about
absolutely, so absolutely. So what do we have to do as an individual or as a group? I'm sorry for interrupting.
no,
We
no, we should.
actually have to bridge. We have to understand the importance of bridging the urban infrastructure deficit and the institutional reforms. Which are very crucial. Like we, the government, the local municipal corporation, they have to reach out to the private sectors for sharing the financial burden, and they together as a whole of LPG, the
Correct.
liberalization, privatization, and the globalization, we have to ensure that it leads to a improved service delivery, which is
Correct.
very important.
Yes.
So this is
But
what your last slide was all talking about, the
correct.
physical empowerment in total actually.
Yes, and it is very interesting to note. We all believe like in that same way that if we have a potential, we have to capture this, and the private players are there to invest. Even the international players are there to invest in our city development. But what about the law, state? So every corporation are responsible or work on state laws, correct? State government
Correct.
creates a law, state municipal corporation laws are there. What about the status? In our study, we have seen 17 states do not have an independent power to even revise taxes or even talk about the revision on that. So, if or even the approval of budgets, if you don't have as a corporation or as a local institute, if you don't have a power to even implement, even thought of or even change anything, how you talk about the privatization or the role in the implementation of private players? Then the answer would be that central government will share the indirect way through funds and through various international, like for example, in Banaras, we have Japan government who want to invest in city development, but through central government, not through municipal corporation. Why? Because state government won't give you that power to even communicate with or even talk about the changes itself. Agree, Vishal, on that.
Agree, absolutely, sir. So
But
yes, sir, absolutely. The session was actually learning for me also. I learned actually a lot from you. It was a wonderful session, sir. I hope there's no more questions pending for you, sir.
but I believe we have shared information that is relevant to you, and also the
Absolutely, more than relevant, sir. Even I actually sat the whole 2 hours and I learned it. Actually, learned something very good and very new, sir.
yeah. Thank you so
So,
much for this.
with the due permission, should I move on to the vote of thanks, which is a small vote
I
of thanks
Yeah,
from
yeah.
my side, sir?
We'll appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you.
For I would like to actually thank you a lot for taking time out of your busy schedule and devoting us to speaking towards such a wonderful topic and giving us a great evening. We are grateful that you took out your time and you gave your efforts to share your thoughts, your long experiences throughout India. You went and gave us those live experiences. And since we are entering into a new growth phase on our campus, and your comments were very lively at that point of time, and I believe we can benefit immediately from the methods you suggested for us, and your enthusiasm was contagious, and we hope to use your suggestions in our classroom teaching also. Thank you so much for your contribution, sir. Thank you so much for the stimulating speech which you gave us, and your comments were very especially helpful for people in research and the students who want to take up research, or members or students who are studying in the constitutional law, and it will provide a much needed help. Thank you so much for once again a truly memorable evening, and we hope you can join us again whenever, and ICFAI will be very happy to host you once again, sir. Thank you so much for, sir, for the wonderful evening and the speech you gave us, sir. Thank you
Thank you
so much,
so
sir.
much, Vishal, and I really, from the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate your effort to organize this session, and also really appreciate for all the participants who have patiently listened me and even contributed. I really like the way they have responded with the questions as well as the responses. So I'm very happy to be a part of this event, as well as in future. I also want to be a part of a discussion like this. So thank you so much for overall.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Namaskar, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Looking forward to again host you soon, sir. Thank you,
I
sir.
will. I will. Thank you so much for all participants as well. I have shared the feedback form. Please let us know how we want to improve, and also we would also love to communicate after the session as well if you have any queries.
Sure, sir. Sure. Will. Okay, sir.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. With your permission, we shall end, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you,
Okay.
Vishal.
Thank you, sir. Namaskar.